Okay.
So we are live, and what a day, Indosan. How are you feeling as a Sri Lankan fan? You're right now in
S-
Colombo. I know you couldn't go to the game in Kandy today. I was to go there. I just gave my tickets to somebody else called Kalai Selvan from Madurai. And it is so gratifying to see Sri Lanka chase this. I was reminded of the Dasun Chanaka chase in 2022, but I'm going to go, push it to you. How is the feeling right now?
Absolutely happy about it because this is something totally unexpected. Because before the start of the game, I think in the last episode also we spoke about it. I would rather play Australia in Premadas and Zimbabwe in Pallekele because it suits Sri Lanka very well. But given the context and especially the start that Australia had, I thought like, they are going to hammer like 230, 40, something like this is going to be out the hand. But the bowlers bowl well. And this is one fine day you find as a Sri Lankan fan, everything just aligns for you like nothing. So this is some sort of day. I'm happy about it.
Absolutely, I remember that comment on the group that we had, where we were thinking that in Palekele it's a flat wicket, and when I looked at the way Head and Marsh started, 8 overs, 97 for no loss, I was reminded of I think the World Cup ODI game in Dharamshala where Australia were like 115, 15 overs, and they were looking like they were going to get 220, 230. But that's the nature of
Absolutely.
Kandy, right? You've also been to Kandy ground as a commentator for the Lanka Premier League. Have you seen similar things unfolding where for the first 7, 8 overs, just a little after the power play, you're able to score runs and then the wicket slows down? It's like the Kandy paradox or the Palekele paradox to make it rhyming. Have you seen that happen?
Because the season that I commentated, all the games are like very high scoring games because even in Pallekele. And the past few years, Pallekele being really a good track to bat on. You can see Nisanka scored his first 200 also there, and Sri Lanka
Right.
had very good games there. And because it's kind of, I think the ground dynamics, maybe with the elevation or something, it just comes nicely to the bat. And yeah, so there is always a deep just after the power play. We can see that because in the beginning, I think the ball is fresh and it nicely come to bat, and then you use different tactics to pull these things. The modern day T20 bowlers are really skilled on pulling things back. I think that's where it started, and Sri Lanka played perfectly with matchups today. Because beginning of the match, you would have heard that they are planning to replace Hemanta with Asalanka. So I would say it's a 50-50 idea because few batters in Australian team, especially Stoinis, loves leg spin because he hammered Vanindu Hasaranga in Australia Perth match in 2022 World Cup. And then you have Tim David and Maxwell also really good with power hitting. But Sri Lanka played very well. I have seen that Stoinis has some issue with slow ball because he loved pace coming on. So they played very smart and they frustrated him with his weakness and they played to their strength and they bowled really well with good matchups. I think finally the data guys' suggestions has been taken well by the management. I would say Jehan
Right.
Mubarak. I don't know. Should ask from him. So that's how things went. These are few of the days like stars align very well for Sri Lanka.
Right. My mother was in fact noticing Vikram Rathore and our Indian fielding coach, former India coach, batting coach and fielding coach, R. Sridhar, right next to Jayasuriya and celebrating. But I was just curious, has the Indian effect started rubbing because they were also part of a very successful generation for Indian cricket.
Uh,
I don't know how recent is this because Sanat Jayasuriya has of course been part of the side since 2024, where I think he
yeah.
started winning the ODI series and then
Mm,
uh,
mm.
Sri Lanka. While it's everything has been going well
Yes.
for Sri Lanka on and off, they started off with losing 0-3. And I think recently at Palekele versus England, England bowled 14 overs of spin at them and Sri Lanka couldn't chase. So I think it's been a welcome change from what we saw. Usually, Australia, if they lose a series 0-3 before, and I've just tweeted that, and people on Twitter are just going ballistic guns on me. I tweeted saying, Australia, if they lose 0-3, they're winning the World Cup. And people are like, "Hey, India, Sri Lanka won." So that's the reaction I'm getting on Twitter right now. But
Uh,
but yes, how does it? What do you think of the coaching staff or the background support staff in terms of the kind of preparations that's gone into such an iconic
Yeah.
victory at Palik?
Yeah, so I would say like Sanjay Jayasuriya, ever since he took, he was very open about the skill deficiencies that Sri Lanka had. So he was even just before the historic series win against India, he actually brought down the thrower from Rajasthan Royals through Sangakkara's contact, and they did something with Sri Lankan team. But on and off, he does a lot of things. I think maybe he would have highlighted that Sri Lanka lacks certain things, especially one is like power hitting, and they hired Julian Wood. I have no idea what happened to Julian Wood after that. He was with the team for some time. With this Sri Lanka cricket, you never know why are they hiring certain people for a very brief period, because if they wanted to get coaches, my idea they need to be there for some time for them to get used to the team and play well. I think Rathor was roped just before, I think a month before. And then the other one was roped, I think 2 weeks before. But I can see this new fielding coach has done some wonders. You can see some awesome catching today, even though they dropped a few.
So
Yeah, that's
yeah.
understandable.
But
But I think from my point of view, I think he's a bit open for these kind of specific roles and bringing people. And he's a bit of, I mean, this is all like what I hear from people who know him, who worked with him in franchise cricket. Also, he was part of certain Lanka Premier League teams also as a coach. He's okay with stuff, right? So
right.
he's very open. He works with data and everything, but he want the match to be won at any cost, right? He just can't have, he doesn't have patience in that. You can see him like he get nervous, he runs here and there, the adrenaline jumps, and sometimes he even looks up and he prays, right? You know why these things. So that's okay, that's fine for all these things. I think he's bringing a lot of coaches and doing some, but I would say Sri Lanka cricket should hire someone for a long time to have this impact on the team, because that's totally different from all these things.
Right. Interestingly, this morning, after we had this conversation, I was looking at Pathum Nisanka's stats. He averages 88 in Palekele in ODIs, of course, on the back of the double hundred that he recently scored, and he averages
Mm.
24. And I remember messaging you saying that, man, I'm not sure if Pathum Nisanka he's so hot and cold. He averages 24 at a strike rate of 120, but there's something special about the guy. I just love his shots, the way he hits it to to third man, all those flick shots that go to fine leg. I think today the whole world was treated to a great exhibition. But as we say, there are a couple of questions and conversations that are coming in. So people, if you're, if you want to, put questions, please do comment on YouTube. And if you're on Twitter, please just reply to any of my posts, and I'm going to read it out here. The first thing that they say is Lakshya Narayan says that Australia needs luck right now. Zimbabwe has to lose all their games, and Australia has to thrash Oman comprehensively. So, as from this particular group, who do you think is going to go, along with Sri Lanka? Is it Zimbabwe or is it
I
Australia?
I will put my bet on Zimbabwe, because they just have to defeat Ireland, because and it's very unfair for us to think, okay, the tournament is competitive, bring Aussies in all these things, because Zimbabwe really put some good effort to defeat Australia. You don't see that much often, right? So I think it should be some justice for them to go, because they did the same in 2007 and they couldn't go because of the net run rate, because that back then. I think they are in a good position to go ahead, because, but again, there is a problem. Ireland is a very good team. They scored 200 runs against Oman in SSC. So this is a very flat wicket. I think they are going to play them in Palekale tomorrow. So that's not their strength also, Zimbabwe. So this might play into different things and a lot of things. And then Sri Lanka is taking on Zimbabwe in Premadasa. Even if Zimbabwe loses that match, I don't think the margin will be so big, because that's one condition. Zimbabwe is the Harare type of wicket, and I don't know what sort of wicket we are going to get, because the India versus Pakistan game was played on a used wicket. So Sri Lanka's first match against Ireland was on a very fresh wicket. So
Right.
if it is a fresh wicket, I would say it's definitely a 170 ish target. If it is a used wicket, it should be definitely 140, 150 target because unless you bat exceptionally well, like what India did yesterday. So all these things comes into play. My personal favorites, and as if now, I think Zimbabwe is a front runner to go through.
Correct.
Australia might trash Oman because Oman is being defeated by everybody in a big margin. Like they are a good team, but like they some things didn't click for them maybe. I think in such case, Australia has so many odds to go in their favor, but you never know. Cricket is very funny game. Sometimes it has happened to so many teams, so they might go through. But I personally believe it's Sri Lanka versus Zimbabwe. I'm sure you must be disappointed to see India playing Zimbabwe in Chennai, but
No,
as
not
if
at all.
now,
In
I
fact, as I had written 2 days back, Zimbabwe hasn't come and played in Chennai at all. In 2011, I was a photographer for the World
oh
Cup. I
right,
remember
right,
seeing a pre-World Cup practice game, Zimbabwe and South Africa. They had
hmm.
played in Chepauk. Otherwise, I've never seen Zimbabwe play in Chepauk. By the way, I think somebody also put a tweet in our group, Deepu Narayanan, that 2002 was when Zimbabwe actually toured India. I think they had toured
Oh
in
okay,
2001 and 2002. After that, Zimbabwe is
hmm.
not really toured India at all. So it's been 24 years since Zimbabwe played a bilateral series, white ball bilateral in India. So I'm happy to see Sikandar Raza come to Chepauk. Though in the IPL, I've seen Sikandar Raza do this little scoop, one ball, three to
Yeah,
win
yeah, yeah, yeah,
against
yeah,
Dhoni. So that's the red team winning against yellow, and
okay,
Punjab beating CSK. Here against Zimbabwe, red team beating yellow Australia. So happy to welcome Sikandar Raza to Chennai, and I don't think Chennai will disappoint because Chennai has been going for USA
yeah,
versus India and New Zealand versus USA. So I think Chennai
yeah.
has been showing up in huge numbers. I'm happy to go
Hmm.
for India Zimbabwe, and I'm yet to plan my train travel there. But yes, looking forward to what is now not looking like an India Australia game, at least for now.
Yeah, so I mean, because I would say like I have a lot of personal affinity towards Sikandar Raza. You know that. So I'm a big fan of him, and I met him a couple of times, and he's very humble. Every time I tweet or send an Instagram message, he replies me back. So after a long struggle, I found a jersey maker and I ordered Zimbabwe jersey, and I'm just I think it will be delivered tomorrow or day after tomorrow. I'm going to shock few other Sri Lankan fans. I might wear that and go and watch the Sri Lanka versus Zimbabwe match. So, but I'm really feeling great for them for what they have been achieving with the limited resources and capacity what they have been done. So they are always punching above their weight. So I mean yeah, of course. Like let them give them a chance. We never know. They might do something to surprise someone. We never know. Cricket, especially the T20 format, is like very unpredictable these days.
Absolutely. Today, when the game started, as a Sri Lankan fan, when you saw Patarana collapse, I know there are a bunch of KKR fans who are looking as far as the IPL and saying, "Oh my God, Patarana's got injured." But as a Sri Lankan fan, on this day, when you're playing a very important game, versus Australia and Kandy, what were your thoughts as a fan, saying, "Oh my God, where are we going to get those 4 overs from?"
Oh,
Or did you think, "No,
initially,
Sri Lanka player will get here"?
no, my first thought was like, shit, is a replay of 2022 World Cup because Sri Lanka was really. There's a brief period Sri Lanka was trying to come off Australia, and then Lahir Kumara pulled off his hamstring and just went away from there. And Sri Lanka didn't recover from that, and they have to rush back. One into Hasaranga, I still remember that match. They had to rush one into Hasaranga in because they don't know where to get those overs in, and Dasun is not sure about bowling in that big ground dynamics and all these things. And Stoinis, I mean, blasted the shit out of one into Hasaranga, and it was a game just went. That was playing in my memory, to be honest. But it's very crucial, and Sri Lanka was really. That's why we need to appreciate what they have done. They quickly switched the plans. I'm pretty sure one of the death overs that Tikshana was bowling was uh, should be Patirana's, and the 16th over Hemant the ball was actually belonged to Patirana. So, but they somehow pull things here and there, and they bowl coming to Mendes in the middle. And the biggest thing that Kaminda Mendes is ambidextrous. So he saw that right-handers are there and he bowled with his left arm. You don't get that luxury often. So all these things Sri Lanka was able to play because they actually went with a 6-5 combination, which they normally don't go. They always go for like 6-7-4 combination. That's what I'm been keep on telling them. Unless for you go with 7-6-5 combination, if a bowler has a bad day, you are completely a disaster. You don't have anyone to
Right.
bowl. And Asalanka won't be able to say like Asalanka comes into this team, he won't be able to tackle anyone today. So thankfully they kept him and thankfully they kept in the plans. I think that worked for them. We have to.
Absolutely. I think he was the star where he was able to go pick 3 wickets, started that whole slide, and I think Sri Lanka came back remarkably well because Australia, after being 97 for no loss, they basically lost their last 10 wickets for 83 runs in 12 overs. And
That's a very
initially going by
Australian thing.
very un-Australian, but going by previous stats, I still thought 180 was like a winning total. And that's why I thought, okay, you can't really underestimate Australia because that's what we've been told from childhood. Australia is never to be underestimated. And after that Zimbabwe shellacking that Australia got, as a couple of people on the group were also tweeting that this is exactly what happened in the 2023 World Cup. They lost in Chennai, they lost in Lucknow, and then they came back to win all those games. So that was that. I mean, of course, scars and memories come back. And I thought this is going to be one such more thing. And when I saw Kusal Perera get out, I thought, oh my God, here we go again. But there wasn't to be. There was a very memorable chase. In a part of me, I think this reminded me of the 96 final, the way Sri Lanka went and chased it. Because I remember Sanat Jayasuriya, because Sanat and Kusal play very similarly. Sanat Jayasuriya got out at third man while trying to cut in that 96 final. And then the way Aravinda De Silva batted, similarly the way Pathum Nissanka batted today, I just thought Sri Lanka just cantered, man. I just loved it that they finished it in 18 overs. Who would even thought that they'd beat Australia and beat them so convincingly with like a good net run rate margin? Was that a result that you expected at the beginning of the game, or at least at
No.
the midway point?
No, no. Beginning of the game, I never, especially after the power play. I need to be very honest with you. As Sri Lankan fans, we always keep our expectations very low, right? That the rule number one. You are a Sri Lankan fan, you keep your expectations very low. And especially after the power play, I was like, nah, this game is gone. And what are we going to do with Zimbabwe now to qualify? I even shared a meme with you saying like, when is the Zimbabwe game? Now we are in that mode. But then when they pulled Australia back, yeah, I could see the body language was changing because they were doing and they really did well. But they should have even kept Australia maybe a 10-20 run shorter if they stumped Josh Inglis and didn't drop Stoinis in the first time when he gave a catch. So, Stoinis or Maxwell, I think. So then these are the things that they should take a note because today it was lucky for them and there was some due also and it was a good wicket and Nisanga found his mojo and Mendes was supporting him really well and some of the length that Cooper Conley and Maxwell and even to an extent Zampa was bowling they were trying to bowl too full. I didn't understand what was their game plan. Maybe they wanted to ask Sri Lankans to sweep, and if they miss it, they have a huge chance of getting them LBW. That might be the reason. Otherwise, I don't see any reason to bowl that full, especially when they were born. So these kind of things they help things just help them in such a way, but you don't expect this kind of stuff to come together. So perhaps if they put everything together, this is a game I would say 50-50 yesterday after the match when I was coming out. So I was wearing Sri Lankan jersey yesterday also. So many people just came to me and talked to me and they said like, beat Australia, beat Australia, beat Australia. So Indians and Pakistanis are so united. They wanted us to beat Australia today, right? So I said like, we will try, we will try, we will try. So that was my answer. So it was a 50-50 game because I would say Australia has the worst bowling attack at that time. And as you told that, you never underestimate Australia because that's actually another cardinal rule of cricket. I would say from at least from the part of the world that we are from. So
Right.
that's everything played together, and so happy what has happened. Now I think if I think if the seeding is correct, Sri Lanka will be playing New Zealand and England for sure. Probably Pakistan. I mean, you never know. Pakistan being Pakistan might lose to Namibia. But otherwise, Pakistan will come. So it will be a very interesting group. Majority of the matches will be at Premadasa. I think Sri Lanka seedings all at Premadasa around 7 p.m. game. So fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed, yes. And I think it's great to see that Sri Lanka in a home World Cup have been able to get past the next round. It was a fairly tough group. Now looking at the group, you have Sri Lanka, you have Australia, and then you have Zimbabwe. So wherever you have these three good sides, like we saw even with Afghanistan, South Africa.
Yeah,
Afghanistan
true,
had
true,
a
true.
close game versus South Africa, but unfortunately they couldn't prevail despite having these close games. But that's the nature of the format, and sometimes I feel India and Pakistan are in a slightly easier group, but you never know. Namibia still has a game versus Pakistan, and
Yeah, so I mean, this has been, I think, so many people have been spoken about it because are they putting India and Pakistan in the most even the Asia Cup in a very easier group for the broadcasting value and all these things. And these are the debates. I would say
of course they are.
the
I mean, like
current
if that is what is really getting you the money, and of course now the ICC is now no more a body that is trying to organize cricket. It is an events company. It's an events company that runs on that makes money on India Pakistan contests, which are disguised as Asia Cups or World Cups. This is the reality of sport. My only point is if in India Pakistan game is going to fund the three Asia Cups, or is going to fund like cricket Namibia's rise where the stadium is being built. That's the reality of sport. You can't really ignore it. But yes, I think one has to find a better way to deal with whatever tension we've had as fans. One doesn't know if you're going to to Colombo to watch the game. That's why I didn't book any of my flights. Waited till the last minute, and then the flights became very expensive. But yes, I think that way I'm happy to see Sri Lanka get to the next stage in their home World Cup. And now that you've also been to the India Pakistan game, how was the atmosphere at the Premadasa yesterday?
unbelievable. That was the first time that I went to an India versus Pakistan. Technically, second time. First time I got a VIP pass, and then you can't even scream or shout there. You just have to sit properly and like in a lecture hall and all. But this is the first time, technically, I would say, like proper stadium experience. It was fantastic. The I think I would say 70% Indian fans and 30% Pakistani fans. And they also might have had the same problem about finding tickets and everything. And
What
it was
tickets? Sorry, go
no,
ahead, go
not
ahead, go ahead.
tickets, the flight
Flights, right?
tickets and logistics and everything. But I saw considerable amount of Pakistani fans, the green color jerseys also. So it was fantastic, terrific atmosphere. As I told, I have just made a reel and I have told it. It really hit me when these firecrackers are going and the both teams just walk in. I was like, oh, that's like, two big flags and they're going to face each other. So I'm just standing and first time I'm like, seeing the entire stadium was seeing the national anthem in Sri Lanka matches it happens, but it is not this noisy, right? Maybe that. So it was a fantastic atmosphere. The Pakistanis were screaming when the wickets were going, and then Indians
Right.
coming back. And I see my friends, and they always ask me can you take the because for I think it's a very Indian and Pakistani stuff because of everything what we have gone through, and I can't just express the feeling because I am not in your feet. And my friends were saying, "Can you please take a video of the national anthem going on?" And I was just joking, you have seen your national anthem. No, it's against Pakistan team. They are lined up that side. We are lined up this side. We are singing the national anthem. We are seeing the flag. I was like, oh my God, that's massive. So let me take a video of the national anthem. So, and then the match was finished and they were singing Vande Mataram. And I can see the entire stadium singing Vande Mataram. I was like, okay, is it a cricket match or in a Rahman concert? So those
Right.
kind of things are really new to me. And
Right.
so many Indian fans came and said, your country is nice, your country is clean. Thank you for having us. Pakistani fans came and said, And then when we came out, few of my friends, and we met some Pakistani fans also, and there was some chit chat going on. Then I asked,
Right.
like, can I take a picture with both of you guys there, if you are okay, only if you are okay? And luckily, both sides said okay, we are okay. So I took a picture with that, and I posted that on social media. It was fantastic at the end of the day.
That's so nice to hear. And I think my general view is that the only India Pakistan, watched an India Pakistan game in Colombo in 2012. That was, I think, the Super Six stage. Or, yeah, I think the Super Six stage. India, South Africa,
Yeah,
Australia, and
yeah, yeah,
Pakistan
yeah,
was the
yeah.
same. I remember coming to that game. Then in 2023, with the Asia Cup had come, I think Sri Lanka is the best place to enjoy an India Pakistan game because in India, I'd been to the game
Oh,
in
we are honored.
no, I'm serious. In Ahmedabad, there was no Pakistani fan, and the only
Oh,
Pakistanis were the 11 cricketers who were playing. And
yeah.
it's sometimes like you're not having that diversity in the crowd. Whereas in Sri Lanka, I remember Pakistani fans doing fist pumping. You feel that whole energy, and of course, India and Pakistan have that animosity between them, national fervor. Apart from that, it's the cricket itself. Because as an Indian, I've been scarred by that 1990s Pakistan team that used to swat and beat us in Sharjah with Wasim Akram, Saklin Mushtaq, Basit Ali. They were like a mind-boggling team of the 90s that would lose only if there was good money on offer. Otherwise, they weren't losing. That side was a very, of course, man. Pakistan was like completely, a side that used
Yeah,
to do a
yeah,
lot of match fixing. So did India, Azhar, and this thing. But I think that generation of Pakistani teams, I was in awe of that Pakistan team as I grew up. So to go see that, it's possible only here or of course outside. Of course, there was the India Pakistan game in the MCG, but I didn't go for that game. But I think the more and more India play Pakistan outside, to me, I think Palekele is the best place because Kandy is a small town. You just go bump into people. I remember, yeah, I don't know if you remember Bino from our group. Bino and
yeah.
I remember we had gone for the India Pakistan game in Palekele, and we just went to. Um, one of the spa that was there down the road, and a lady saw Vino and asked. He had come with a jersey on. She asked him if you like, are you a cricketer? Because he has body and all that. Said no, not a cricketer. Why you asking me that question? He said no. Some other guy came here the other day, and he was a cricketer. He's from so he wore a green shirt. His name is Shakibul Hassan, and Shakibul Hassan had
Oh,
actually come to the same spa, and I think this is like
okay.
the best, most like posh spa there, like proper spa, because there are a
Yeah,
lot of improper spas also in Kandy.
yeah,
So
yeah,
this is
yeah.
one of those proper places, and it's just so beautiful that you might bump into people as cricketers or people connected with the sport. I remember bumping into this Indian Sachin fan. I was just finishing a trip to Asgiria Stadium, and then I saw him, and then I asked him, saying, "Hey, you want to paint your face? Why don't you come over to our house?" I had rented one whole bungalow in Kandy, just very close to the Palekale Stadium, and that's where I met most of the group guys. I asked them to come stay there. So I felt that Kandy is beautiful because it's so close by from the city to the stadium, and it's such a festive atmosphere. And I
Yeah,
even remember
true.
doing a trek in between a Sri Lanka versus Bangladesh game. I think there's some floodlight failure. I got bored. I took the car, went out somewhere nearby, did a little trek with Vino, and came back. Flew my drone and then came back. So Sri Lanka to me is Palekele is one of those very beautiful small town places to go watch an India Pakistan game. And I remember also, I think, telling this to one of the journalists, Vimal Kumar, who was in Sri Lanka at that point of time. But yes, that said, I think I'm happy. So your whole country's next wave of tourism depends on if Namibia beats Pakistan. Do you want Namibia to beat Pakistan?
So it's like this. You can't just pick and choose things. I would say, like,
Right.
we are grateful because at the end of the day, we understand that each country is little different, and each country is really so many of my friends used to ask me because I just really wanted to make a note, and they always like tell me about like why don't, because as you know that I mostly write about cricket and everything. And there are times that I was critical about certain things that Sri Lankan cricket team have done, and especially after that Shakib Al Hasan and Matthews fall out,
Mhm.
and all those hostility and all. So people always ask me about like why don't you write about what is happening here? I said I unless I stand on somebody's shoes, right? So about what is happening and all these things, it's very difficult for me to do that. It's really difficult for me to do that. So what I would say on the whole thing, we I would definitely be very happy being very Sri Lankan. And yesterday, the Pakistan Cricket Board president has actually today met our president, and he thanked for the match happening and all these things. Yeah, of course, I thank my president. Otherwise, I wouldn't have chance to watch India versus Pakistan match. So it's out of politics. But there are things we, as you said, it was a massive gain for us. We had 10 private jets parked in this, and mind you, this is a country just 4 years ago declared bankruptcy. Last year, we had a devastating cyclone. We are still recovering from that. We are so thankful to the world for giving all of us, and especially India. Like, still India does some humanitarian work on something, putting railway tracks, building bridges, something, right? I lost track of what you guys have done. So grateful for all these things. And so does for every other country. Pakistan lifted something to us. The UAE came with something. Netherlands came with something. US, Russia, China, you name it. Everybody came. So we are very happy about these things happens, but at the same time, like I would say, like honestly, I want to say, like not the expense of anyone. So we are really, because so many people after my post on Twitter, they just come and say, like Sri Lanka can host a bilateral series from that. I don't think Sri Lanka is in a position to talk to either India or Pakistan to do that. But we have given
Right.
neutral venue. Long time ago, Pakistan and Australia played a test match in Colombo, and the rest was played in UAE or something. But Sri Lanka is
Right.
ready, I would say, because we have the capacity. Even bilateral means you can play one at Kandy, one at Colombo, one at somewhere. Or if
Alhamdulillah.
you want to play tennis or something, if you play a test match or something like that, we are still ready. But my problem is, are we in a position to talk to them? I don't think so, because these calls must definitely come from within. We can't just go and say, like hey, we have ground, come and play. No, if they are interested about something, we can go about. So these are
Right.
nuances which I wanted to keep everybody. I wanted to record it here at least, like somewhere people ask me, like I said, like send this YouTube clip, like watch
Right.
this what I spoke. So we are happy, yeah. So let's see. Fingers crossed about what is Namibia's game, and of course, I really like Namibia. What they did for India at that time, they did everything possible, and they had a very good start from their capacity. They actually try their level best to stretch India a little bit, because that's what the
Right.
game dynamics is all about. And their captain, like he practiced a lot, and he even bowled from a very long play. I mean, to just to drag the length here and there.
Right.
So
Right. Right.
yeah,
Right. I think
if
he
they are
did
good, if
definitely
they
catch India off guard with his,
yeah,
length
yeah,
coming in. One is the
if
length
they
and the
deserve to go,
angle.
let them go. Yeah,
Right. So, yeah, I think as a fan who's traveling for matches, I was just discussing. I'm not sure whether I should book my tickets to Colombo for the last week of March, or should I book my tickets to Ahmedabad? Because if Pakistan's getting in, technically the games are gonna the Kolkata semi-final will go to Colombo. So a few of us were just planning, saying, how do we book it? How do we book refundable tickets? But yes, if one is able to get to see an India-Pakistan semi-final in Colombo, should be fun. But yes, it'll mean a lot of travel rescheduling and fun. And yes, just
but
hope
it's
that
highly
the better cricket.
unlikely.
Hmm. Let's hope the better
Highly
cricket
unlikely.
prevails. Better cricket prevails, and yes, now we've had a very interesting weekend, and now we are almost at the fag end of this group stage, and yeah, very interesting to now look forward to the remaining games to see who are those eight sides that make it. But it was interesting, Indusan, talking with you late into the night. You've also been trying to help out a lot of our group members feel comfortable in Colombo. You met Shashi, you met Nihar. So I think you've been hosting them and taking them around. So yeah, thank you for all of that. And let's look forward to some more interesting games. Hopefully, we get to see another thriller in Sri Lanka.
Sure. I mean, I'm also like fingers crossed for everything. I think in Sri Lanka goes to this group, I want New Zealand and Sri Lanka to go to the semi-final. So that means that the
So
O rules out Pakistan and makes your travel plan. I'm
absolutely,
sorry.
so easy.
These are two my favorite teams. I want them to go there.
Yeah, we're so used to seeing New Zealand in a semi-final. So we've seen them in the
But
2019
not
World
with
Cup.
you all, please. Not with you all, please. We want to go to the final.
So yes, I think it'll be good as a rehash of the 2011 World Cup, 2014 World Cup, where Sri Lanka ultimately won. Uh, a lot of positive, fond memories for you as a Sri Lankan fan. So yes, look forward to the week ahead in the T20 World Cup. Thank you, Hindusan, and for all those people who tuned up so late. Thanks for spending 35 minutes of your valuable time listening to us, and thanks for some of your comments. Look forward to catching you tomorrow. See you, everyone. Good
See
night.
you. Bye.
Bye. So yes, that was a very interesting